Right, as you've seen me do this before, I do it in a very strange way. I put the bolt on, like put the nut through there. Now you won't be able to see this, but so I've got the pulley here that requires a nut, and there's the Allen bolt one on here. We're going to put the nut on here. Right, so that's to keep it in place. So that when you tighten this one up, yeah, you see how it's pulled up square? So when you tighten this up, this is still free to move. If we back this off, that's free to move. So now is our tricky job of putting the belt on. Is it or isn't it? So we want that at its, which is its lowest point. It's that point there that's its lowest. So we're just going to put a little tiny nip onto that bolt. And then we can take this one off. This is going to make life a lot easier. Hopefully. I want to make a mess of it. And that will keep the bolt, this plate, central in there, so when we put this back on it'll line up. Now one of the things I must do to make life bearable, interesting, I don't know, is to just back off these bolts here so we can turn this pulley just ever so slightly. You don't have to take them out. But that will, so by taking those bolts out there, this is going to allow this to move a little bit so we can get our belt on better. Right. Belt on there. There isn't much room to work here, that's the problem. Oops. There isn't much room to work, so I you know, like I say, I haven't got two cameras set up because I'll never do it. Now this is where it gets tricky because you've got to feed that belt around. And you've got to make sure that that pulley puts some tension on that. That can move around a bit. So that's why we took the pulley off, because you can see you can hold it with your finger. You can get this pulley into here. You know, don't worry about it not being square because we've got to turn it over here. We get the pulley, and that should, with a good look, slip like that. See, slip that pulley in there. Drop that in your bucket. So that was just a little trick that I learnt to put the belts on without struggling. It's really easy, isn't it? Because if not, you're trying to push, you can't get the teeth around this bottom belt, so that's why you push it this way. And now we can put a bit of a nip onto here, just a little nip. Then we can back off our tensioner. Just again, just nip them up, we haven't finished yet. Now, that's not moved, that's not moved. This has gone a little bit too far back for my opinion, but now we can tighten up these bolts here, these three bolts, with a 10mm. or should I say we'll just nip them up, just clinch them up ever so slightly. And remember, don't turn the engine over with this pin in, or the one underneath. Many injector pumps been ruined by that method. Now, like I said, we're not worried about where the belt lies at the moment, because now it's on, we're going to turn it over a couple of times. We're going to take our pin out of here somehow, and we'll put the pulley on, turn it round, like I say, a couple of times, let it get central, because this belt's gone back a little bit. This is where it should be, but it's gone a little bit back on the pulley, so by turning it, it'll centralise the belt and it'll make it easier to tension up. So I've got the pin out from underneath. Now I'm going to take the pin out of here, keep it safe, safe as you can. We're going to turn it over twice. I like to do it 2 or 3 times, and make sure that that belt settles, because like I say, it is at the back. There's just a little bit of hand tension on at the moment, nothing too much. We haven't tensioned it yet, remember, so let's get on with that. Right, I've turned this over quite a few times. I've put a bit of a copper pipe on my ratchet as a cheater bar, just to turn it, because it is tight. The top tip, if you're doing your cylinder head or injectors or anything like that, take your glow plugs out. It makes the life a lot easier to turn over. You can see perhaps here that the belt has now moved forwards. The belt here and here is completely parallel, and the belt is smack bang inside this pulley. Now, there are problems with these TDIs, as you probably know. The belts usually get over tensioned. We're going to do that in a minute. And the reason for that is if it's too tight, the belt will start to run forward, but it also can buckle the casing here. I've seen this quite a few times where people have had, you know, great big bars on thinking they've got to be tensioned up so tight. It's only 11 Newton meters tension for the belt. It's not much. This is a little bit over tensioned, but I wanted it to be that way. So what I've got now is I've almost got it on top dead center again. So what I'm going to do is lift it up in the air, put the pin back in. I must have turned this over quite a few times to get it settled. Then we'll lift it up, put the bottom pin in, and see how our pin lines up here.